From 3D to 4D and 5D, Lessons Part 2. Today, millions continue to enter 5D through 4D. They do not need events, flashes or sheens. Much more useful and important are the lessons of those who, in recent years, have been walking and already passed into 5th dimension, despite darks and their 3D system. Interesting are the first discoveries of transience in new habitat, their taking of space, body and chakra sensations. Earlier, DNI narrated this topic. Especially valuable are the lessons of their inner work with the main 7 energy centers. This helps us not only to accelerate the transition into 5th density, but also to continue with their help our further ascent through its 12 sublevels to the next dimensions, and in them, fully activate dozens of other chakras of our multidimensional body. Unlike 3D, the 5th dimension is not only more rarefied energetically, its mental and emotional fields are completely different. There is no duality, our perception of the world is changing dramatically, and each chakra gets new properties. Under the 5D high frequencies impact, all the polar basics embedded in them are transformed into unipolar. How exactly? The first chakra, root chakra. Being the densest in the 3-dimensional world, in 5D, the first chakra is so thin that it looks like a glowing sphere, connecting our new light, liquid crystal body with the Earth's surface. In 3D, this energy center anchors us so that we stand firmly on our feet. In the 5th dimension, through root chakra, our body links to the planet's subtle plane by channel, very flexible and mobile, allowing us, by the power of thought and intention, to move freely throughout the terrestrial space. And although today not all of us have vibrations at the level of the 5th dimension, we can already enter into resonance with it, into a single rhythm, and feel selves as an integral part of the 5D Earth. The second chakra, sacral chakra. In 3D, our second chakra is responsible for sexual attraction and reproductive functions. In the 5th dimension, they are preserved, but elevated to a new level. It's not just a physical attraction to the opposite sex, sometimes promiscuous, as often happens in the 3-dimensional world, but the union of a man and a woman based on spirituality. In 5D, it is much easier for us to find our twin souls with the help of the sacral chakra. It works in a single vibrational mode with the upper energy centers, which are also involved in the search. Their subtle structure allows to scan each other simultaneously for sexual, spiritual, mental, emotional and karmic compatibility. This helps us avoid mistakes and sad experiences inherent in 3D life, where couples are often created through trials and errors that bring a lot of suffering and frustration not only to men and women, but especially to our kids. In the 5th dimension, the second chakra checks the potential partner for sexual compatibility, the third, for similarity of characters and temperament, the fourth, for call of the heart and warmth of the soul, the fifth, for common worldview and ability to communicate harmoniously, the sixth, for karmic expediency. As a result, sexual attraction, supported by a wide range of qualities of other chakras, which is necessary for a harmonious union, allows building truly happy unions. And children born in such families are not only happy, but can also gain the necessary experience for later life, observing from an early age what the relationship between a man and a woman should be. The third chakra, solar plexus chakra. In 3D, its main role is self-affirmation. In this tight density, duality rules us and the world. Through the third chakra, the system, by every means, encourages us to assert selves at the expense of others, constantly proving that we are better, smarter, stronger, more cunning and wiser than all others. In the 5th dimension, the third chakra works in a completely different way. No one here is asserting self or fight for a place under the sun. In 5D, each of us finds self among people close in spirit, and guided solely by soul, and not by ego. In the world of high vibrations, solar plexus chakra and its enormous creative potential fully unfold in our practical activity and its limitless possibilities. From here, through mental and emotional channels, we broadcast to earth new knowledge and discoveries, ideas, plots and finished works that others materialize as their own in different countries. The work of the chakra as a control center of our emotions is radically changing. In 3D, the system completely subjugates it in order to manipulate us through fear, hatred, aggression, greed, unbalance and promiscuity, which are the cause of many troubles and suffering. Strengthening our dual perception of life, the power pyramid constantly provokes in us resentment, jealousy, frustration, the desire to control and bend others. The energy density and viscosity of the three-dimensional world increases emotional overloads and passions, since all the energies we emit are the same dense and viscous, forming an extremely toxic concentrate. In the fifth dimension, there is a more rarefied space, and its energy serves as a powerful barrier to low vibrations. Our emotions are automatically sync with the high-frequency 5D and become harmonious, soft, gentle, and balanced. In all our feelings and actions, a sense of measure and a desire to create for the common good are manifested. There, emotional swings and the hunger to run others not exist. The feeling of possessiveness, so widespread and common in 3D, cannot arise under any circumstances in 5D, where relationships between its inhabitants are built on completely different principles. The fourth chakra, heart chakra. In 3D, this chakra radiates our power in the world, but it controls more our mind and ego than our soul. Yes, thanks to the latter, we can be heartily attached to people, share our warmth with them, and keep it in our thoughts, feelings, and actions. But since we are imbued with duality, which has become the basis of our mentality, very often heartedness is accompanied by reservations. I will love you if. And there's a huge amount of such if. This is how we voluntarily or involuntarily deprive loved ones being themselves, not to sham, not to force selves to our standards in order to be loved, but to live as their own heart and soul tell them. Of course, there is deep and unconditional love in the three-dimensional world, but it's rather an exception to the rule, so much has 3D duality entered our flesh and blood. And the lower our vibrations, the more conditions we impose on others so that they deserve our love. In the fifth dimension, our heart chakra literally blooms and expands so much that it embraces with its warmth and unconditional love every living being on earth, every plant, every blade of grass. There is absolutely no criticism, condemnation or any setting terms in our heart, for which we can and should be loved. Love becomes unconditional in all its manifestations and foundation, on which relations between people in 5D are built, where unity, equality and brotherhood reign. In three-dimensional world, many have tried to achieve it lots of times, but, unfortunately, unsuccessfully. The fifth chakra, throat chakra. The energy of this chakra translates our inner state to the outside world, supports our communication with other people. Oscar Wilde believed that self-expression is as basic a human need as hunger or thirst. Its absence ruins relationships with the surrounding reality, and leads to emotional burnout. This is due to the fact that in 3D, every day, we have to observe a lot of conventions and rules, conform to the image, do what we should, and not what we want. Thus, the system tightly locks us into a state in which we do not live our lives. Why is it often difficult to find a common language in the three-dimensional world? The main reason is in the different vibrations and the upbringing, education, character and temperament, formed by them. In 3D system, implicitly, in communication with others, we are constantly trying to assert selves, at all costs to prove our case, demonstrate our abilities, and impose our knowledge and point of view as a rightist. If we ourselves come under such pressure, then, suppressing the desire to speak out, to assert ourselves, we block our fifth chakra. It feels physically like a lump in the throat, and often leads to thyroid disease and cancer. In the fifth dimension, the throat chakra works differently. Since we are at the same level of vibrations, both with our planet and with all the people around us, our fifth chakra sensitively captures the slightest thoughts and desires of the interlocutor. It is rather a telepathic communication in which words play an auxiliary role, explaining the subtleties and nuances of what we want to convey to other person. In other words, we take whole mental message as an energy informational batch. This is how in 3D many of us get soft codes and missives from the higher light forces, if we can reach them with our vibes. But in 5D, this way of communication is the norm, and words and thoughts are transmitted and received telepathically. Only here our individual abilities are fully manifested. In the absence of duality, any conversation takes place in a warm, friendly atmosphere. Everyone is generous and happy to share their experience, as well as sincerely rejoice in the successes of others. A well-developed intuition helps to find people with similar interests and mindset, as a result of which contacts are always joyful and useful. The sixth chakra, third eye. This chakra controls our intuition. In 3D, this energy center is usually closed, because its vibrations do not coincide with the surrounding space. Most of us have energetic blocks and imbalances as well as energy sabotaging habits that prevent us from accessing our full vitality, which leads us to feel exhausted, scattered, dull and even ill. The good news is that third eye can resonate with 5D any moment. And since all the inhabitants of the fifth dimension are at the same level of vibes, this effect increases many times. Due to the different levels of frex, we, as highly spiritual person with a well-developed sixth chakra, cannot see another man, whose vibrations are too low. That is, he is surrounded by a very dense 3D energy that can't enter into resonance with our 5D energy. As a result, we bounce off the low frex, unable to penetrate his shell. In such cases, we feel alien to each other and avoid unpleasant communication. The situation in the fifth dimension is completely different. Our auras, saturated with high frequencies and light, allow us to freely communicate with each other at the level of the six chakras. We also become open because our third eye easily scans the thoughts, emotions and desires of people around us. Of course, the other chakras, mentioned above, also play an important role in this. But unlike them, third eye is a primary scanner that instantly reads the energy informational content of another person, his main essence, and our compatibility with him, physical, spiritual, mental, emotional, and karmic. And only then, with direct contacts, other chakras are turned on to capture the nuances, when each of us disclose more fully. This is how our intuition works in 5D, without encountering obstacles in the form of low vibes and freely penetrating into the energy space of others. Seventh chakra, crown chakra. Unfortunately, in the three-dimensional world, the vast majority of us have the crown chakra in a dormant state, because it's impossible to fully unlock it in the dense and toxic energies of 3D. This doesn't mean that it is inactive. Regardless of whether we feel it or not, that chakra continues to perform its functions, being an energy channel, connecting us to the source. When in meditation or prayer we raise our vibrations to the level of the seventh chakra, we can experience goodness and dissolution in the energy of one. In the fifth dimension, we are in this state all the time, and consider it the norm. In 5D, our seventh chakra performs other functions. It serves as a link between us and our star family. Incarnating on Earth, our soul is always connected to its monadic family by energy and information channels, through which we are helped to survive and work in the negative and hostile three-dimensional world. But, as Disclosure News highlighted, we embody on a 3D planet with a blocked memory, do not feel ties with our star families in everyday life, and often do not even guess about its existence. At best, we attribute the miracles that happen to us to our intuition, curators, or guardian angels, and not to the maternal cosmic races to which we belong. Only in 5D this truth is revealed to us in all its details and nuances. But even in third density, the seventh chakra serves as a powerful antenna, tuning us to the wave of our star families, if we realize the significance and work on activating the crown chakra. Why is it so important? The fifth dimension combines the experience accumulated by our soul in the lower and higher worlds. To make the most of it, we must synthesize and transform this experience so that it becomes a new link in the chain of soul's incarnations, which will allow us to rise to the next evolution level. Crown chakra accumulates our experience in third density. In parallel, it sifts this experience in such a way that during our transition into 5D, low vibration elements of duality and karmic energies of the third density could not seep into it. In addition to the chakra system, the pituitary gland, the pineal and the hypothalamus also play an important role. The hypothalamus and pituitary gland work in pair to regulate our endocrine system. Because of its location, crown chakra is closely associated with the brain and the whole nervous system, and energetically connected with the root chakra, as they both are at the extremities of the entire system. Although the pituitary gland is not an energy center, it provides fine-tuning with the worlds of high dimensions and their civilizations, leveling the difference of our vibrations with them. It also determines whether our chakras are ready for contact, whether the high level of our vibrations is stable, and whether we can communicate painlessly with the inhabitants of other worlds. 5D is the first stage of higher dimensions, which opens up unlimited possibilities for us. Since we are all different, someone will feel great staying in the new world, enjoying all its benefits, and someone will strive to grow and move further along the path of spiritual ascent. Depending on the passive or active lifestyle, our chakra system will remain the same or light up in dozens of other dimensions. Since there are many vibrational levels and sublevels in 5D, a lot of opportunities for spiritual growth open up for its inhabitants. Some will linger at the border of the fourth and fifth dimensions, others could move closer to 6D. And, of course, in both cases, the chakra system will differ. The former may have only the rudiments of the 8th chakra, and the latter may activate the 9th and 10th. And this also involves the pineal gland. Only we can to turn on full blast all our basic and multidimensional chakras. For that, it is important to learn the lessons, not interrupt our inner, spiritual work. And our star families, together with all higher light forces and curators, will be happy to help us.